Hello and welcome to Winfield's This Week of Rugby League. And a busy week again. Of course, the highlights of the National Panasonic will feature quite prominently a good match between Balmain and Canberra. That was preceded by also a very fine schoolboys match in the Commonwealth Bank Cup. On Saturday, Eastern Suburbs got a taste of the winner's circle when they defeated St George. And then on Sunday, the match that was billed as the match of the year, the grand final dress rehearsal between Parramatta and Canterbury at Parramatta's stadium, and it was to be their first feeling of defeat at their new home ground. But let's go back to Wednesday and pick up things in their chronological order. We were at Leichhardt for the match between Balmain and Canberra. McCabe comes into the second row to replace the injured Paul Sirenen, and Kerry Hemsley comes in to replace David Brooks, who's been dropped to the bench. Interesting to note that Gary Schofield, of course, is back with Balmain, and his English colleague Tony Myler will sit on the bench and in all probability get a run. Canberra, Terry Fay was forced out of the side only this morning, and Mitch Brennan has come into the team. He knows plenty about cup football. Those of you at South Sydney would agree with that comment. His younger brother Rowan is in the second row, and Gary Spears in number 11. He certainly knows plenty about Leichhardt, himself being a former Tiger. So time on, and Conlon with, for him, a shallow kick going down to Gary Belcher. He's met there by Roach, and coming in over the top was Davidson. This is Spears. Oh, good tackle. Hemsley hit him with everything, almost the soles of his boots, but I tell you what, Hemsley's the man that's hurt. Belcher puts the kick in. That's not a knock on. It came off the boot of Gary Jack. Hemsley is coming back. Conlon, Jack, Schofield, Gartner. Gartner going hard and fast down the right flank. He comes to a sliding halt. Dummy half is Jack. Through Schofield, Bridge, cuts out Conlon, picks up McCabe, Hemsley, now it's away to Bevan. This is Pearce, Pearce to the 22, Hemsley, Bevan's put it down behind him, it'll be play on, and players just outside the Canberra 22. Meninga lying all over the tackle player, giving his team a chance to get their defence organised. Roach is tackled, and I think this is tackle number 4 as he plays it. Elias, back it goes to Bridge, and then away to the number 4, Conlon. A chance for the Tigers. He tries to get it around the corner. 6 more tackles. Good refereeing by Barnes. McCabe plays it 11 metres out. It's gone to Pearce. Over now to Bridge. Steps off his left. Goes back into the traffic zone. Up inside the 10. And he's pulled down by some desperate Canberra defence. Dummy half, Benny Elias. Dummy's right, comes left, Roach, Pearce. Pearce! Pearce! Oh, the ball has gone to ground and cleaned up by Canberra. And Coyne it is who is calling for attention as Pearce, I thought for a moment he might have gone for it. Played back to Walters. Fired back for the kick to Belcher. They put pressure on him. Oh, good pressure too by Kevin Hardwick. Played by Kerry Hemsley. They push the ball out to McCabe. On it goes to Schofield. Schofield away from one. Held by Ferguson. Schofield to play the ball now. Back to Russell Gartner. Back on the 22, Elias. Out 25 metres is Jack. Jack comes back to the 22. Pulled down and tackled there by the number 9, Gilbert. Across to Elias, on to Conlon. Over the 22 goes Conlon. Gets the ball away to Davidson. Davidson for the corner. Davidson scores for the Tigers. A try that one thought was coming about 2 minutes back. Davidson scores, but it was really Ross Conlon's try. There's the Foster's Lager replay as Conlon went into Meninga, held it back, tackled low, but he stood long enough to give it to Davidson, and 4 points to Balmain.
This try was because of the number 12 for Canberra, Walters. He never got outside his man. That meant that Meninga had to come in and make a tackle that he didn't want to take. Conlon held the ball well up for Davidson, and I like the looks of this fellow. He's a good finishing winger. He knows his way to the try line.
Conlon's kick is wide, very wide in fact, and so the scoreline remains unchanged. Balmain with 1 try, scored by John Davidson, leading by 4 points to 0. Ferguson away from dummy half. He beat 2 of them. He's gone into an opening. He's over the halfway. Look at Ferguson go. Inside the 32 and now to the 22.
There are a couple of Canberra players that were trying to loom up in support. Barry Barnes must have seen it because he should have blown the whistle. They were held back.
This is Gilbert now. Just inside the quarter. No more player in the game is more electrifying than Ferguson. Spears. They lined him up and drove him. Roach and Pearce the tacklers. O'Sullivan. Bellamy. Rowan Brennan. He's out of a tackle from Hemsley. Up to the 10. Inside. O'Sullivan is under the black and gold dot in front of the old stands. Well, Rowan Brennan was able to beat Kerry Hemsley. He beat him point blank. I've made a couple of excuses for Hemsley. I can't make any more. He was injured earlier on. But there's the pass inside from Rowan Brennan. And Chris O'Sullivan levels the score up for the Raiders.
Balmain won't be able to take the Canberra Raiders lightly. They're a side that's got plenty of attack. Here the break was made by Rowan Brennan. He slipped the ball back inside to the halfback, Chris O'Sullivan, and he scored underneath the uprights for a great Canberra Raiders try.
Meninga converts, so Canberra take the lead. Canberra leading Balmain 6 points to 4 in the National Panasonic third quarter final. Pearce out wide, standing, looking, Bridge goes ahead. A good 10 metres. Roach. Bevan. Dummy back to McCabe, got the ball back to him nicely. 5 tackles gone. Now let's see, will they put the kick in? Just looking for a kicker to be in position. In fact, Elias has to go from dummy half. It's a horrible kick from Benny. It's the second time he's been asked to kick, and twice they've been ordinary. This time it's been kept alive. The pass from Conlon was forward, but the referees called it back for another breach, which was a knock-on some 30 metres out.
This opening second quarter starting the way the first one finished, with Balmain easily being able to outstrip Canberra and make breaks, but they haven't finished them off and put points on the board, and that's got to be a worry to Frank Stanton.
So the referee has found Chris O'Sullivan guilty of an incorrect feed, and Balmain to take the differential penalty. Bridge finding the line on his quarter, or on the Canberra quarter. Gardner takes it towards the middle for 1. Bridge to Hardwick. Hardwick getting his head down. He likes to get low to the ground, and sometimes he burrows his way through. Bevan, Conlon. Now they're paying closer attention to Conlon. Roach. Pearce. Oh, where's the runners? Here's Schofield now. But he was at a standstill. He's still able to beat the man with a fend. And now he's tackled 8 metres out from the Canberra line. Balmain aren't putting it together as well as certainly they can. Twice Pearce has been standing like a shag on a rock, pleading for somebody to come off him. 5 tackles gone. Here's Bridge for the kick. And he's going to recapture the ball. Can he offload? Yes! Yes! Big Steve Roach scores for Balmain. Right under the dot. Good work by Gary Bridge. Excellent work by the blonde-headed half. Better known as a 5'8". He's in the position tonight for Scott Gale. Meninga didn't know whether to clean it up or take the attacker. And Roach was there backing up and picks up a fine try.
Bridge has taken to his new position as half like a duck to water. Here it was the little grubber kick through. He regathered it. Belcher had a 2-on-1 situation, couldn't do much about it. Roach was in support and crashed over under the upright.
He has those sort of kicks for entrees. No problems. And so it's the Tigers 10, the Raiders 6. Penalty to Canberra. It's got them for not arching. Packing incorrectly, if you like, is just a sweeping terminology to describe it. Can the Raiders come back from...
I'm sure that they can. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they're going to make Balmain struggle all of the way. I think that Canberra is a side that can play good football.
They're solid. Oh, long ball, dangerous ball, picked up by Meninga. He's going to score, I think. Gary Jack lines him up and misses him. Big Mel Meninga scores wide out after they chanced a very, very dangerous pass. The Tigers, I thought for a moment were going to swoop in, but Meninga picked it up on, I think, the first bounce. And of course, when the big fellow unwinds those big thighs and those big legs, it takes more than the Australian fullback to stop him.
Well, here was a case of a bad pass, wrong footing the opposition defence. It went into a hole. That caused the Balmain defence to miss the tackle. And here you can look for Mal Meninga to use his big frame, his bulk to advantage. Gary Jack just couldn't make a tackle on him to force him out.
No, it's wide. He pushed it away across the face of the uprights. No change, 10-all, Tigers and Raiders, third quarter final. And the ball being placed by Ross Conlon. Incidentally, if you're associated with junior football at school level or junior league level, stay with me tonight into the final quarter. I'll give you some details of the National Panasonic Junior Rugby League knockout. This is Belcher now. Across now for Gilbert to go in field. The hooker's with him. Gets it back to him, the number 12. Walters it is. Chased by the number 12. Here comes Hardwick. Walters refuses to go down. Gets the pass inside. And it's Gary Bridge who pulls the ball down. Well, the old hookers had it to themselves. The Canberra hooker Walters. Elias was after him. He fended him off. And he kept going. And... it seemed, I thought, 50 metres out, he had no hope. So it's Canberra with a little chip over the top by Bellamy. Belcher's going very fast. So is Gardner, so is Carey. Stacks on the mill. Over the dead ball line. He's ruling that it came off a Canberra player. Incidentally, Benny Elias has put down 23 tackles in this match so far. Here's Mitch Brennan, in and away from Conlon, chased by Davidson and pulled down 35 metres out from the Balmain line. Carey across now to Gilbert.
Balmain started off with a bang in this second quarter when they put points on the board, but since those opening few minutes of this second stanza of play, all the play's been down in the Balmain half.
Hardwick's gone down injured again.
That's high.
At a shoulder, a high tackle by Paul McCabe. And a penalty to Canberra, almost right in front. Very short run back, or a very short tarmac, if you like, from Meninga. He got that away beautifully. So Canberra will go to the half-time break leading by 12 points to 10. Just time probably for the restart, but only just. David Brooks will come on for him probably, although Kerry Hemsley is the other man that I had under the microscope as far as being replaced was concerned earlier on. Oh, Canberra playing Sunday school picnic stuff with it down in their own in goal. Goodness, I wouldn't think Mitch Brennan would do this in a month of Sundays. Have a look at this. Why would you want to do that? There's the siren, so it probably doesn't matter now, but that's something you don't need to do. Canberra, nevertheless, are leading Balmain by 2 points at half-time. So John Ferguson getting some attention. Myler on the paddock. 12-10, Canberra leading in the National Panasonic third quarter. to make Gary Spears. I don't think he's seen the ball yet. And now Balmain have got the football 5 metres out from the Canberra line. Right in the middle of the paddock. Across it goes now to Gary Schofield. Myler was with him in the 15 jumper. Dummy half is Whittaker. Across to Bridge. On it goes to Roach. The big man through one. On to Conlon. Oh, what a great pass. What a great pass. And into the in goal. Scoring the try goes John Davidson. Well, if you're looking for a man of the match at this stage, and maybe I'm being premature, but look no further than Ross Conlon, you'd be very hard-pressed to be outvoted. There's the Foster's Lager replay of this big man, who probably is somewhere near the money for that match billing, but Conlon has had a part in everything. Davidson goes in for his second try, and a great ball under pressure from Conlon.
Well, if you're looking for a reason for this try, it was the Canberra mistake they made a few moments ago under their own post. That gave Balmain the opportunity. Ross Conlon threw the ball over the top to Davidson, who had the overlap, but he still had plenty of work to do. Belcher was coming across in cover. He got a hand onto him, but couldn't hold him.
And I got a feeling he's going to get this. In flight looks good, but it's just off. Just off. No change. Balmain 14, Canberra 12. So here's the tap taken by the Tigers, and Davidson, with the smell of tries very much in his nostrils. He's got 2 tonight, and now he appears to have been injured in that tackle. Clutching at his head. Maybe the Canberra player came down on top of his forehead. Let's have a look at this now. Is Davidson being driven into the ground? Oh, yes. Very much so. He's going to have a headache in the morning. As if he hasn't got one now. Nice thing to do to a dual try scorer. He's probably saying. Roach. Oh, the big man might score himself. No, he's short. Through the hands of 3 Balmain inside players. Here's Myler. Myler standing, getting it away for Conlon. Out to Hemsley now. Hemsley looks for support, but he's pulled down about 15 out from the line. Right in the centre of the ground from not Whittaker, but Perry back to Bridge. Bridge it is who's tackled on the 22 line. This match going right down to the wire. 2 points in it at the moment. And certainly it's got all the earmarks of knockout football. As Myler knocks on, and a scrum to go down, just on the Canberra 22 line. 4 minutes of the third quarter to go. Big push by Balmain. Gary Bridge, out of one, stands in a second. Back for Pearce. Pearce's tackle. 8 metres from the Raiders line. Can Balmain put them away now? Long ball, Schofield. Taken by Gardner. Oh, he's been put into touch by Phil Terry. Good tackle. There's that wrist of Benny Elias. It's certainly blown up a little bit. Here's Gary Bridge. It's a very high kick, a good one, and plenty of time for the chasers, but Belcher comes down with it. Tremendous take on this long fullback from Queensland. Belcher goes to the halfway. He picks up Mitch Brennan. He fends off one. He stands in a second, but nobody with him other than Bellamy, the 5'8".
That was a great effort by Wayne Pearce. He had to cover some 70 metres to make that tackle.
He's indicated shoulders against Myler. O'Sullivan plays it as it goes through 2 sets of hands to Belcher. He gets the ball inside for Bellamy. And Canberra coming back strongly in the final quarter. Play back to Walters. Onto the ball strongly Spears, but he's put it down. And Coyne dives on it, so it'll be a scrum. Is Gilbert and Spears coming off now? Scrum win to Canberra. It's the second scrum win to Canberra against the feed.
Balmain's starting to look a bit tired around the rucks. I think Canberra could start to look towards the inside pass, just taking the ball up and tipping it to a man on the fly. Some of the Balmain defence in that area is getting sloppy.
Quick hands. Belcher! McCabe missed him the first time, got him the second. Now it's Meninga. This is Walters. A fine game. He's won a couple of valuable scrums. He's been very handy in attack and defence. And Ellis to play it now. Coyne turning it back, picking up Meninga. Meninga within about 5 metres of the line on the 5th tackle. Dummy half is Coyne. To the left it goes to Bellamy, then it goes to Elliott. Oh, he had his arms free, but the ball has come down to Balmain. And David Brooks plays it. Gary Schofield runs with it and is pulled down by Phil Carey. Coming away with it is Perry. Just inside the 22, setting it up for the kick down the ground. Hemsley now. 14 points to 12. The current cup holders, Balmain, defending their right at the moment to at least get through to the semis and then to the cup final. And now we see Jack getting a kick in. It's not a brilliant kick. And Belcher, the man who almost pulled off a length of the field try with the help, of course, of Mitch Brennan, is tackled. Back to O'Sullivan, away to Ferguson. And Ferguson has decided that now's the time for him to display his wares. No knock on, says the referee. I disagree with that. That was a knock on against Canberra, but they're allowed the benefit of the doubt. It's gone to O'Sullivan. Onto the halfway to Meninga, the big man, over the 22. Mitch Brennan's got the ball. He's pulled down 8 metres from the Balmain line.
Balmain are in all sorts of trouble. Canberra running white hot at the moment with plenty of possession.
This is Belcher. Legs cut from under him by Gary Jack. Played back to Meninga, given to O'Sullivan, now to Walters, now to Elliott. There's the kick off the left foot. It's going over the dead ball line. Dummy half, Gary Bridge. Here he is coming round the corner and tackled by Coyne. Strong performance by this nuggety front rower. Now it's Roach. Long ball. Schofield. Schofield. Now it's Gardner. Inside. Schofield. Inside. That's Roach. Roach is tackled by Carey. I thought for a moment we were looking at a tremendous try in the making. Across now for Perry. Around the back for Schofield. On for Conlon. They've got the numbers. Oh, dearie, dearie me, the number 15. Tony Myler only had to hang on to that ball, and I'm pretty sure they would have been over the try line. But we see Belcher coming outside the 22. What an exciting third quarter final. Don Ferner, the Canberra coach. Frank Stanton, the Balmain coach. And Arthur Beetson. This is a Coyne now. And a good tackle by by Myler, I should say. Across now for Bellamy to give it to Elliott, and he's on the halfway as he pops it back to Giddo. Now to Belcher. Belcher's away from Conlon. Davidson's got him. Inside it goes. Giddo juggles it. Gets the ball back to Big Meninga, and he's tackled inside the 22. 6 minutes of time remaining. Canberra, they've got to score a try. It comes across, and it's out with O'Sullivan. It's gone over to Big Ellis in 17, and he's pulled down by Wayne Pearce and by Gary Schofield. 5 tackles gone for Canberra. O'Sullivan puts up the bomb. It's almost gone straight up and down in the one spot, and up above them is Gary Jack. No, it's not Jack, but in fact Gary Bridge. He plays it on the 22 line. It's Perry in 17. Camera. Elliott the tackler. Jack. Davidson. 5 tackles gone. Camero it is who puts the kick in. Bouncing down to the in-goal area. Hits the uprights. Brooks comes through. Not sure where he came from, but he makes the tackle, and Belcher puts the kick in. Bouncing around awkwardly for Davidson. Myler. I think he's going to score. Yes, he does. Tony Myler has gone right through them. Well, what an auspicious entry to Australian first-grade rugby league. Just when the Tigers needed something like this, Tony Myler, the new boy in town, provided it for them. He beat them with simply a change of pace. There was no sidestep, no swerve, just a change of pace.
The Canberra players here, to me, were waiting for Myler to do something with the ball. Davidson had stood in a tackle. He passed it back to him with really nowhere to go. There was plenty of defence in front of him, but the Raiders waited and waited to see what was going to happen. Well, Myler had in his mind what he was going to do with the ball. He was going to run towards the try line, and that's what he did to come up with the 4 points.
Looking at it on the head-on, and there weren't too many Raiders to be found. Try converted by Ross Conlon, and Balmain, the heat is off them now. 20 points to 12. The match in its dying minutes. This is Myler. Brooks. Pierce. And there's the siren. The end of the third quarter final. It went right down to the wire, didn't it? Before Balmain pulled away in the final quarter to win by 20 points to 12. Davidson 2 tries. Roach Myler tries. Conlon 2 goals. And for Canberra, O'Sullivan and Meninga the tries. And Meninga kicked 2 goals.
St John's Woodlawn with green jumpers and the red saddles are running left to right of your screen, and Hawker College of the ACT in green and white running from the right-hand side of your screen. And they're attacking and with the ball and coming out nicely. Oh, gee whiz. You saw it, Culloch, with 2 up on a very, very narrow passage that was a moral try. But it's a Woodlawn feed. Mitchell will take the tackle of the quick-breaking Everston. Score is 0-0 here between Woodlawn College of Lismore and Hawker College of the ACT. As it's McHugh, who's wrapped up by his officer Burns. There's Mitchell hoisting it. And coming back well to Nikias. And he's taken by Jason Kay. Organised as Biscuit comes up into the line and is hit by Maxwell. Took his man well, and they pin him about 32 metres out from the goal line. And again, it's Anthony Hayes taking over for Hawker. Now Wilkinson with a little show and trying for a probe just outside their quarter, but Hawker attacking now, and coming with the ball is Clyde. Knocked off by Sullivan, freed to Wilkinson, well taken by Nikias. Oh, well taken! And that's Logan going in for the try for Hawker College. They took control and we're still digesting it, but cool as you like, and that was finally Logan steering himself in for it. Well done, Hawker College.
Well, this was a case of some classic ball handling, really. It looked as if on any of a number of occasions the play could have stopped. Firstly, it was a popped-up pass in a tackle, and then a second one by Michael Burns, the 5'8". Finally, the ball was switched out wide. I think it was the number 4, Logan, that came around and scored almost adjacent to the uprights.
So it's a feed from Mitchell. Woodlawn ball. McHugh up on the line, Shannon. Well hit by Culloch. Strong performer with his defence and trying to do things again as McHugh. Fella with a lot of flair, fairly heady player. Switch of direction, coming onto the ball, Johnson. Nice overhead pass. This is Johnson. He's got support on the inside. Fairly tight on the line, and it was McDonald who had to come back on the inside. McDonald himself from acting out. Is he there? Referee Phil Cooley says yes. That's the opening shot for Woodlawn. They took to the offence, and sudden death from acting half here. Have a look at this.
It was a couple of quick play the balls by Woodlawn, and that was shut the gate.
Have a crack at it. There's the connection. Oh, it's a fancy ball. Oh, lovely. And Woodlawn hit the front. They lead Hawker 6-4 in our second quarterfinal from Leichhardt. This is Bradley Clyde. Showed a lot of penetration here tonight. Harold Matthews and ball representative for Canberra. And now Culloch. Close ball. And they're still about 14 metres out. Little group, they're not stretched out as Culloch comes again. And he's put to ground by Blake O'Mullane about 9 metres out. Now this is better. Coming Corvale. And oh, sheer weight. Oh.
He shouldn't have been allowed to go that far. The Woodlawn defence just is not coming up quick enough. I think they're back 10 metres, not 5.
Back on the inside. That was a nice... I don't know whether he bounced it. He did. Lost it. It was nicely done. He ran wide and gave it a very narrow inside passage. Here it is here.
And the referee just picked that up as an inside pass, and he was in a very good position to see it, and I don't think he got the ball down anyhow.
There's Busak. Wrapped up by Mitchell. This up again. And Burns. Taken by Johnson. Now Everston. This is where the trusty tackling will have to come in to retard any journey that Hawker have in mind.
And this is where Woodlawn have a problem. It's in their defence.
Culloch.
Just fundamental things, you know, players missing tackles, going too high, and some of them turning their back when they're going back in defence and not facing up.
Rubber through and picked up. He couldn't free the ball to Burns because Burns and his centre partners on the outside. So Everston. Wilkinson again, and he's penetrated, weaving nicely, looking for backup. He's got it here in a dangerous customer. Logan couldn't free it. Cummins is with the ball. Straight away now to Everston. Everston making good forward progress. Oh, lovely wicket. Oh, shocking defence from Woodlawn.
Oh, Bond to try, but he had support on the inside. All he had to do was look to his right hand, and the number 3, Bradley Clyde, was off and running under the post.
They stood like statues as he went on through. And a penalty, Woodlawn.
Well, John, we identified it early. Woodlawn aren't going up in defence. They're waiting for Hawker to bring the ball to them, and if they continue to do this, they're going to have all sorts of problems. Look here for the double movement tackle just short of the line.
Now, Mitchell coming back forward is Balmain as the half-time hooter rings out. Balmain making good progress up this left flank. And still the ball is kept alive. He gone the wrong way, Logan, and on a mop-up operation was shut. So that's it. Half of a little bit of quality for the crowd here and for you at home. An early lead first of all to Hawker, but Woodlawn came back. So at half-time in our second quarter-final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup, Woodlawn College St John's of Lismore leading Hawker College of the ACT 6-4. Again, Mitchell transferring it to McHugh, and McHugh trying to prod forward, frees the ball to O'Donnell. Now, if they can do some work out here through David Maxwell. Now, here is a nice run from Vidler, who showed us his form and his wares in the opening minutes of play inside the quarter. Last one on Woodlawn. Now Mitchell goes for himself. The little chip picked up by O'Donnell. 6 more. The pressure still on Hawker. Out through Vidler. Through O'Brien. Coming onto it strongly is O'Mullane. O'Mullane trapped 12 metres out, and Hawker now called on to lock out these raids. Held up nicely to Sullivan. Sullivan's got on the outside. Did bad things there. They had 3 up on them on a very narrow corridor. Here goes McHugh again. Nice ball to Mitchell. Mitchell is in, yes. They worked nicely in tandem. You won't see much better than that. It was calculated. They used the room, and they went well. So Woodlawn now, and very important, opening up 10-4.
Woodlawn had been doing all of the attacking in the opening minutes of this match, and that was a great ball back onto their half-back, and captain Matt Mitchell, he came through some defence as he had to score it, but it was a very determined and powerful run.
This is McHugh, see him drawing his hips in and drawing about 2 before he slips it to Mitchell. And the little halfback, he had the room, he used it, worked it well, and it paid off. So Woodlawn 10 leading Hawker College 4 in our second quarter-final. Here he is coming in, a fairly reasonable one. It's a crack and it's a good one. So Woodlawn now lead Hawker College of the ACT by 12 points to 4 in our second quarter-final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup. We have our coach, Kim Evans of Woodlawn. He's got a glint in his eye downstairs. He's unearthed some talent of high standard this year, and they always seem to have managed that with Woodlawn College from Lismore. People like Luke Beasley, who's now at East. You remember him, Bill, a couple of years ago. Commonwealth Bank Cup, lovely centre. Matt Callanan, who fronts with...
Canterbury Bankstown winger.
Canterbury.
Yeah. Well, Matthew's an outstanding
Woodlawn.
player.
And I think Frank Hyde, or his son, attended St John's College.
That's right, Greg, who played with North Sydney.
And
Maxie Ninnis, who's the conditioner for Illawarra, an old Woodlawn boy.
yes, and number 14 is on for Hawker College. That's Michael Burns. Not to be confused, although we have 2 Michael Burns, one in 14 and one in 6. Michael Burns in 6 is the captain. He's there 5'8". As Wilkinson turns it back. Oh, Everston, yes! Easy as that. What a try. Oh, they steamed. They exploited them pretty well. Had an eye for the gap and a little loop over the top, and they're in.
Well, Woodlawn's defence around the rucks does leave a lot wanting here. The ball inside, there was no cover defence coming. That was a gaping hole that the number 10, Glenn Everston, went through to come up with a try that has now put Hawker right back into this match.
Wilkinson, a nice little balloon pass to Everston. He's done a lot of good work tonight, Everston, particularly in attack, and his defence has been nagging away all night. Here is Wilkinson, crashing it back on the inside, and no trouble whatsoever. A lot to aim for, and he's goaled it. So it's a nice hit back from Hawker. 2 tries in the opening couple of minutes of play, and Woodlawn lead Hawker College by 12 points to 10. And again, we have a game on our hands. Locked at 4-4 a little earlier, and then 6-4, and now 12-10. Whipped out straight away through McHugh, and O'Brien is there for backup, and through O'Mullane. Kay, Shannon up on the line, but good cover here coming across from Logan. He doesn't muck around a classy centre, runs the ball strongly and comes in with a shoulder charge strongly to put Shannon out of action.
Yeah, I thought Shannon was going to make a long break here, but the cover defence was too strong. It was the old shoulder charge, pushed him into touch, and that now gives the feed to Hawker College, and they need to get some possession. They're looking a little bit ragged at the moment. Woodlawn's starting to run too freely for them.
Whipped out on a good break here by Brett Clark. An excellent tackle from Shannon, playing up on the line. Straight away it comes now to Burns. Michael Burns, the very experienced young bloke in Rugby Union, Rugby League. Straight away to Wilkinson. Qlock. Oh, and plenty of pace. Here is Richard Borman. Richard Borman, a beauty. Oh, he's got in for a try. They've gone berserk from Hawker. What a marvelling speed. He unleashed it then and really smoked. Watch this back on replay. I think he beat about 3 or 4.
Well, I think Jeff Snowden would have had his heart in his mouth, and Jeff Snowden's the coach of Hawker all the way during this run. The ball was switched back to the blind side. There didn't appear to be much on, but Borman made the split. Now, he should have gone for the corner here and made sure of the 4 points. But what he elected to do was come back infield. Now, he's still not over the try line. Still not over the try line, but he finally gets there and plants it down for the 4-pointer.
Well, he's brushed past about 5 of them, Bill, and he went off like a fire alarm. Have a look at him here from a standing start. Here he goes, gets the ball there from Qlock, past one, Mitchell coming across for him, outpaces him, nice strides this fella. Comes back inside of Shannon, Mitchell still goes after him, but he blocks it down. All powerfully built athlete too. So the score bounces along now, Hawker 14, Woodlawn 12, and here's the conversion, and she's a beauty. Hawker 16 leading Woodlawn 12, and that's the scoreline in our Commonwealth Bank Cup second quarter-final from Leichhardt. So again, it's incredible pressure put on Woodlawn with plenty of ball. What is the ball situation at the moment, Bill, insofar as the...
Well, the scrums, Woodlawn are leading 6-5, but the penalties have gone a mammoth 8-4 in favour of Hawker. And, you know, should it be a draw and 3 tries each, we're going to go back to penalties, and Hawker are running high, wide and handsome in that area at the moment.
Here's Wilkinson going for a burst. So Culock at acting half. Whizzes it straight to McHugh. Back in the ruck, and Culock ready to take a close ball, involved in everything. Now straight away to Hayes, and is he over? By gee, it's taken some determined defence to keep him out. Just came charging through like the full buffalo that time. Now Cummins hands it out to Michael Burns, who shows it and gets it back into Cummins. He's about a metre short of the goal line. The last one coming up on Hawker. Little pride. Oh, I can be lucky for you. I thought he was in. Clyde, Logan. But good tight marking by their opposites, particularly from McHugh. There's a nice break by Everston. He's got support on the left, taken by Michael Burns. Can he line him up? Gives it to his winger, and home sweet home for Richard Balmain. And whoever Blake deserved a try, he did. A lovely, powerful athlete, and that's his try.
Balmain scored the try here to seal the match for Hawker. It's his second try of the evening. This time he didn't try to put the ball under the post. He realised that to head for the corner post was the right thing to do. It all started with an inside pass back to the 5'8", Michael Burns. He slipped it back onto his support with number 14, Michael D. Burns, and back onto the number 16, Richard Balmain, who goes over to win this game for Hawker College.
So we've seen the attacking prowess of Balmain on two occasions tonight, as Everston, who's been quite outstanding in the first half and certainly made a break there with young Michael Burns, the second Burns in the side with Balmain. Culock has to go to ground on the quarter with Nikias, a very thoughtful winger, taking play to about 10 metres out. Cummins straight away to Wilkinson, the touch on to Michael Burns. On a wrap around, here goes Logan, gives it out to, I thought it was Clyde. Bit of messy ball, and we'll have it with Woodlawn coming up with it. Shannon, in fact. Only a metre out, and there she is. And they jump for joy to the players from Hawker College of the ACT. They've given us plenty of enthusiasm and endeavour, and they sensed it from the start. They got something out of this match, and they were right, a semi-final berth. So that's the final scoreline in our second quarter-final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup. Hawker College from the ACT defeating St John's of Woodlawn College at Lismore 20-12.
Round 10 of the Winfield Cup, and to kick off the weekend's league matches, we go to the Sydney Cricket Ground for the clash between Eastern Suburbs and St George. Both these sides in recent weeks have been struggling to find top form. Eastern Suburbs, of course, still in search of the final five, and St George in search of that 1985 minor premiership form.
Burgess. Walford picks it up inside him, and they're on the St George quarter. Well, Steve-O, what do you think?
Well, I think that Eastern Suburbs have got to try to contain St George very early in the piece. I think that Masters will have had them really fired up for this match. They have to start winning points now to have any chance of being competitive for the premiership. And if they lose today, well, I think you can say farewell to them for the five. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Worth, for the second time, returns the kick. Funnel, who sent it to him, rams it back again. I think the Swans were playing here at the start of this game. A lot of kicking. Worth has a go this time, and it's pretty slippery in the middle of the ground today. A lot of rain in Sydney during the week on that cricket pitch area. Harvey to play it, replacing McGahn in the pack today. Melrose over Walford's head for touch, and he finds it. Fine kick by Tony Melrose.
Certainly was, and there's coach Roy Masters to be far from impressed by the winger Ricky Walford.
Batiste hurt in Selby's tackle, feeling for his back. Harvey makes the break. Support inside him. No pass though. Harvey going straight for the line. Good chance for Easts. A spread through Melrose. Lucky to find Bennett. Last tackle, a handover. But a good break by Harvey, but he didn't seem to look for the support.
Certainly was a good break, but it's a good pass as well. They really are working on these set patterns, Eastern Suburbs.
That's Jarvis. Young. Good ball for Fafita. Nice play by Young. Putting Fafita through there. Linane. O'Connor through the centres. Walford. Melrose covers him. Linane again. Jarvis. Hastings in there. As ever, busy in defence. It's the last one for St George. Funnel again. A field goal attempt. Looks all right too. What a field goal from Steve Funnel. A long, long way out. That was about a 45-metre kick from the second rower. And he was right on target. So it's a bit like the FA Cup final a few hours early, 1-0 to St George.
Yeah, it's a good lift for the same side. That really was a great kick.
Burgess with him. Beautiful tackle. Dean Bell, a good chaser on those kicks. Slippery Steve Morris. That's Funnel. Linane cuts it out to O'Connor. Here's a bit of a hole for Michael O'Connor. Burgess now. He looks for support, but he's dragged by the French from the flank. Now Linane. On the blind, it's Funnel. O'Connor. O'Connor weaving them. Last one for St George. Linane coming in to call the shots. Across the face. Look out, anyone's ball. Collision there, Morris went down. A clash of heads. Morris and Spina bumping into each other. Quite accidental. They've both recovered.
Tricky ball to handle, that one, Jim. Good kick, but good play by St George.
Bouncing off Fafita. That's Bennett into touch. It's a good hit there with Harvey and Fafita. Good afternoon, Arthur. That's Brown. Tasman. Spina. Yes, he's shot through. Grabbed by Burgess. Spina, very dangerous one-on-one. Brown pops it up to Baptiste. A metre out for Eastern Suburbs. Bell at dummy half. Spina again, look at him step. Got it to Hastings. And St George did well to stop that. It took the meat of their forwards to hold it up. He's still a show. He's over the line, but he can't get it down. Harvey held up right over the line. He went for his life. But again, the brute strength of the St George defence preventing a try.
Well, this should have been a penalty to Eastern Suburbs. Offside play here. Really was bad.
Well, Linane's got the ball. Spina didn't muck around. He had him, and he's kicked it through, and he's almost scored it. Spina very nearly scored after hooking it through and to play the ball. Here it is. Linane up to play it. Spina, quick thinking.
Well, St George just go to sleep here. And only just.
Photo finish. A real scramble in goal. St George almost conceding a try that time. It's 10 errors for Saints, only 2 for East so far. Simpkins. This is the best start East have made to a game for a while. Melrose. Batiste. Hastings fumbled it to Glenn Leggett. Now, can East coordinate it this time? Who's coming? It's Brown. Linane's arrested the pass. Last tackle. Melrose, fancy stuff. Coughed up to Hastings. Bennett on Morris. Back to Hastings. A desperate kick from Batiste, but look at this. Oh, Harvey dropped it. If he grabbed that ball, which almost bounced perfectly for him, he was in for a try.
Certainly was.
Anxiety forced the knock on. Have a look.
The ball came off Craig Young. That was a try, begging.
Crunch goes Tasman. Just a couple of metres short. Here's the line-up. It's Hastings going for a burrow. And he stopped a centimetre short of the line. East again. This time it's to Tasman. Batiste. Batiste to play it. Spina's got it. Melrose saw St George coming up fast. Simpkins. Tasman ran into Melrose. It went back to Simpkins somehow. Last tackle again for East. St George holding out well. Harvey's through. Again cut down just short of the line. Last tackle and a handover. Fafita. The ball's lost there. East have got it back. French will play it. Batiste. St George making it hard for themselves. It's a couple of times now they've given the ball back on the first or second tackle, and now it's a penalty. Now this is the third penalty in around the same spot that the East have had, and both previous occasions from here, Melrose has kicked for touch. This time he's going for goal. Melrose this time kicks it. A straighter kick from Tony Melrose. And East at last on the board after worrying their way upfield against St George. East 2, St George 1. 11 minutes to go in this half. Guida away through Jarvis. That almost came off. O'Connor just overran it. Jarvis held it. Selby. Selby's found a hole. This is East problem time. So many games this season after good play, their defence falls away. Concentration. Now watch this. Fafita. St George's chance. First time for a while. East missing a couple of tackles. Linane. O'Connor. Nice little chip. Chased by Morris. He judges the bounce well, and he's so close. And he knocked on. A little knock on, but he was tackled short. He wouldn't have scored. But watch how Morris just timed himself for the run in to grab the ball here.
Good kick by O'Connor. Morris running through. They don't call him slippery for nothing. And this really should have been a try. Good defensive cover there.
Jarvis is in trouble. He's limping badly. Jarvis is going to be replaced from the look of it as Batiste gives it to Hastings. It's Melrose. Bell, it's Spina. Worth. Spina kicks ahead. No penalty. That's O'Connor. He cops the ball loose. Now East, another chance. French has got it. St George losing the ball almost straight away again. Tasman. Simpkins into a hole. Look at Simpkins go. He's stretching out here. He goes to Dean Bell, who's over. Bell, who scored. There might have been doubt about the last pass, but it's a good try to East. That's their reward for a solid first half. They've gone close a few times, and now Bell has scored. Good backing up. Watch the play from Simpkins.
Good play indeed, and the hooker really went off, set off here. Good handoff. Fafita tries it again, and just at the last moment gets the ball away. Good support play. Could have been a little bit doubt about that one. This all came about by a bad mistake by O'Connor. Nice little step. Good handoff. He fends again. He's looking for support. Bell's there. There'll be a lot of talk about that one, Jim.
Melrose conversion. 2 more points for East. And that's a handy lead. East 8, St George 1 with 2.5 minutes to go in this first period of play. East just take it up. Harvey. It's been a few weeks since East had this sort of lead at half-time. Any sort of lead. Burgess. The siren goes for half-time, and Eastern Suburbs, on the strength of a Dean Bell try and 2 goals to Melrose, leads St George, who scored first with a long pot at field goal from Steve Funnell. That's the first half. Eastern Suburbs in command. And there's a man that's got to assert himself a bit more in this game if St George are to win.
Certainly has. He's got to inject himself a good captain's game in the second half. Spina receiving a treatment. Caught a boot in the face.
Spina's back in action. Lenane's firing the pass to O'Connor. O'Connor, good step. Beautiful play by O'Connor. Past Worth. O'Connor's still going. And the pass is loose. They've still got it. Didn't go forward. O'Connor's flattened his back. Lenane, it's the last tackle. Worth back there recovering after badly missing O'Connor. He cleans up the action. What a magnificent break by Michael O'Connor, but it did not lead to a try.
Well, here we see Lenane kicking through, but it was good work, build-up work by O'Connor. That's what Masters would have wanted from him.
Lenane, for a moment he thought he was clear, but the gap closed up fast. 10 out. Great show for St George now. Fafita. All sorts of calls behind the action. It's Young. Morris. Loses it. Easter got it back. Steve Morris lost it.
I think I've heard you say that before today, Jim. They've lost it again.
Steve Robinson about to come on. Well, that time East's lost control of it. Spoilt by the St George defence. Funnell charging again. Another great run by Funnell. Throwing himself at the defence. Lenane away to O'Connor. Holds it up nicely for Selby. East defence stretched here. Johns. That's Johnson. Lenane, long ball, who wants it? Wolford. With a bit of a hospital pass there. Spent an eternity in the air, and by that time he was easy meat. Last tackle, O'Connor called for it. Oh, it's shocking play here. They might get away with the play. Selby's going to put in another kick. It's knocked down. Johnson. It's Michael Beattie ready to come on. We think it's for O'Connor. Young sets it up. That's Guida. Good break by Johns. And Johnston slammed to the ground by David French. Lenane carves it out to Johns. Gets past French. And Bell. Beattie. Tackled by Worth. Lenane. That's Robinson. And St George, plenty of ball in this half. Plenty of chances. Young. The East defence has been terrific all day. Couple of tackles to go here. Lenane. Kicks ahead. Bell's got it, and it is a penalty. Lenane knocked over after he kicked ahead.
Good play by the halfback. Realised there was nowhere to go. Pushed it through. And Brown decides to do the backward shuffle.
Young. The call from the St George bench now is for Lenane to go on the wing. and Morris to come into half. Well, you were suggesting that about 10 minutes ago, Steve.
Maybe a little bit too late, Jim.
Walsh's ball finds Guida down in the mud. He did well to hang on to the ball in that jolting tackle. Funnels kick ahead. Harvey's onto it, but a penalty against Easts on Funnel that time.
We'll find Tessman here. Here he comes, Tessman. Get out of the way. Well, what can St George do now, Jim? They've got to at least enjoy it for the last 9 minutes.
Funnel again. Glider. Ferreting his way towards the line. There goes Fraser. Colin Fraser on for Fafita. Young. And there's the try at last. Chris Walsh has scored for St George. It's taken them something like 70 minutes to get over the line. They've had a lot of possession in this half, and it was a pretty simple try in the end.
Good pass by the skipper, Craig Young.
So Walford to make it just a field goal the difference. He's hit it solidly, but it's inside the post, no goal. 3 points the difference. And St George try to win the game now. Simpkins. There it is in there. Whack from Fraser. Melrose, fourth kick of the day. He's kicked 2. And this one's pretty close. He's kicked it. So St George now need a converted try to win the game. And that kick may have settled it for Easts. Inside the last 5 minutes. Dean Bell. Leggett. Last one for Easts. Melrose again, spearing it back. Beautifully picked up by Beattie. There's the siren, and that's it. Eastern Suburbs, their 3rd win of the season. First time for about 4 seasons that they've beaten St George at the SCG.
Well, from the Sydney Cricket Ground and a great Eastern Suburbs victory to Parramatta Stadium and a crowd of over 25,000 on hand to witness the clash between Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown. Parramatta in great form this season and undefeated at Parramatta Stadium up against the 1985 Winfield Cup premiers. Most thought this was going to be the preview of a grand final for 1986, so let's go to Parramatta Stadium for all the highlights of Channel 10's NEC Big Game.
Welcome to the NEC Big Game in round 10 of the Winfield Cup between Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown, with this super contest today coming from a packed stadium here at Parramatta. The Eels lead the premiership on 16, Manly and South next on 14, and Canterbury just 1 behind on 13. Parramatta and the Bulldogs have already met once this year. It was on the 9th of April in a midweek cup clash with the Eels victors 16-10. And as the Blue and Golds run on for another home game at the stadium, it's significant that in winning all 4 home games, they've notched up 116 points for and only 20 against. Their team for today is Taylor, Atkins, Laurie, Ella, Groth, Kenny, Sterling, Price, Sharp, Wynn, Leabeater. Vince Carr comes in for Michael Mosley and Jeff Bugden. Well, today is Canterbury's first trip to the stadium. For the past 4 years, every time they've played the Eels in premiership matches, it's been on their home ground in Bulldog territory. Their team looks like this: Potter, Peter Mortimer, Farah, Chris Mortimer, Sandy Campbell, Hagan in for Sigsworth, Lamb, Langmack, Folkes, Gillespie, Tunks, Bugden and Dunn. And the man in charge is Mick Stone.
So from left to right, it's Canterbury Bankstown in the first 40 minutes. Played by Ray Price. This is Vince Carr, the man who came into the hot seat at the last moment for Michael Mosley, suffering from food poisoning. Lee Beater taken in a four-man Canterbury tackle. No place for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Price, young Bugden around the legs, Tunks over the top. Sterling, they tried to put some pressure on him, and they did. Potterman. And Sandy Campbell, very fast. Taylor making the tackle. Peter Mortimer. Carr in 25, one tackle, win the other. Tunks has put it down. Fed out the back by Lamb, but the referee, Mick Stone, has ruled that it was knocked on. There's the 85 results. Parramatta won the first encounter, and then it was Canterbury by a long way in the next two. Long ball from Kenny. They'll be working for that. This is Ella. Mark Laurie. Lee Beater. Gillespie. And jumper number 10 and Dunn in 11. Tunks in 13. So Lee Beater, there's a penalty going to Parramatta. Lee Beater has now taken it up twice. He's met the full wrath of the Canterbury forwards. Sterling advises the referee that they're going for line. Sterling himself was under a cloud until this morning. He apparently came down with a 24-hour flu. Likewise, Steve Folkes, he was under a cloud until this morning. This is Lee Beater again. Knock on by Price. Lee Beater and Dunn exchanging words as that little knock on comes from Ray Price. Penalty, Canterbury. Feed across against Carr. (2016) Canterbury, the 23s, 14-0 Parramatta, the reserves. This is Dunn. Now it's Gillespie. Parramatta paying the penalty there. Win went high and two others charged in and rammed into Win. This is Tunks. Through Folkes. A high ball out to Peter Mortimer. It wasn't a good pass from Steve Folkes. Charge down. Successful from Parramatta. They'll come up with possession. Played by Carr. He's played in 4 first-grade games. In 1985, they all were. Peter Wynn, Carr. Dunn takes him near the halfway line. Sharp. And the plan was to centre the ball, and that's what they're doing. They'll probably come the blind on the next play. Here's Bugden. 5. Well, now, of course, they've got the kick in mind. Here's Sterling. And that kick is beautifully placed. I don't know that it'll reach the dead ball line. They're very deep here. Taylor's going through fast. Peter Mortimer pursued by Taylor and grabbed in goal. It's a line dropout, which brings something like 28,000 people to their feet. Give or take a few thousand that have come over from Canterbury for this match. There's the incident. Taylor gave a good chase, and Peter Mortimer was unable to make the goal line.
We could have no better example than that kick by Sterling, that if Parramatta are going to get away with this game, it's going to be through his kicking boot that they'll launch that platform.
Sterling won't be happy with Graham Atkins there. He took the ball, he called for a runner, but Atkins was 20 metres behind him. Here's Lee Beater. The message is, let's get up and get at them on both sides. They're hitting very hard, the Canterbury forwards. Penalty against Canterbury inside the 5. And now an eruption back where play came to a halt. Lee Beater's eye, we'll get a shot of Lee Beater's right eye, but it has come up very quickly. And there were punches thrown. Vince Carr, he was like the meat in the sandwich. Here it is again. Let's see what happens. Lee Beater let a shot go from behind on Gillespie. Lee Beater has been the centre of a lot of Canterbury attention since the match got underway. I've just got the feeling that they think there's a chink in his makeup. Talking of makeup, he'll need some too when he's planning to make an on-camera appearance later. His right eye has come up very quickly. There it is on camera for you now. So Graham Atkins has got the chance to put first points on the board from 20 metres out. He's almost in front. Graham Atkins with a very easy kick. But I wonder, is there such a thing on a day like today? He's got this. Graham Atkins kicks the goal and Parramatta lead by 2 points to 0 in the early stages of the NEC big game, the year's biggest.
Canterbury have adopted an interesting defensive line here. What they're doing is they're playing Terry Lamb at 5'8" in defence and Michael Hagan's going back in cover in the halfback spot. So what they're obviously looking for is Lamb to mark Kenny and keep the pressure on him.
Sterling, Laurie almost through. Sterling backed up. Price cleans the ball up at 6 more tackles. Penalty to Canterbury against Ray Price. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, we'll see. Pricey, that's crazy stuff from a man of his experience. When you've got the football, you don't give penalties away. It came out of frustration, quite obviously, but that's not really an excuse when you've got the football. Canterbury, they lost a player too before this match, and that, of course, was Phil Sigsworth. He's with Graham Hughes.
Phil, what was the full story? From all reports, you were cleared at yesterday's training session.
Yeah, well, yesterday morning I ran and it felt pretty good, and then like late last night or yesterday afternoon, the injury flared and my ankle swelled up, and as it turned out, it was no good for today's game.
Oh, Kenny went for an intercept. It almost stuck in his hands. Sorry for coming across you, Graham. Apologies to Phil Sigsworth.
Well, I think Phil's heart goes back to where it should be. Phil, it also shows Canterbury's depth to bring a player like Michael Hagan.
Well, Michael Hagan's been playing very well. He's a fine youngster coming into the game, and there's no doubt Michael Hagan, I'm sure he'll have a good game today.
No difference with big match games like this one. It's going to be won or lost in the forwards?
Well, I think Canterbury have got the edge there in the front row. I think Peter Tunks and Paul Dunn there in the front row will be the deciding factor.
All right, thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Penalty to Canterbury. This will be the equaliser, one would think, 32 metres out right in front against the Parramatta markers. Peter Kelly, another of the Canterbury players. Well, he's not allowed to play in the match. Mother's Day 1986, and I've got news for you. There's plenty of mums at the Parramatta Stadium. Whether they liked it or not, I think they just had to get here if they wanted to see their old man. Terry Lamb, they can boo all they like. I don't think it's going to affect this young man. He's very great under pressure, and he's got it. He's got it. He's got plenty of football ability too. Parramatta Canterbury 2-2. You're watching the NEC big game. Oh, the ball's goes loose, but there's still a chance. Atkins. Farah driving in with Lamb and Canberra.
I don't think Parramatta will find their way through the centre of this Canterbury Bankstown defence. They're going to have to resort to the kick, such as Sterling's just put in there, or spread the ball out wide.
Peter Mortimer obliged to field the ball. Tackled by Lee Beater. Parramatta 47 tackles. That's possession held. Canterbury 23. So you can see Parramatta's had twice as much time with the football. And the score 2-all. Tunks. They're driving in like men inspired. Done. Good work by Peter Tunks. The kick for Farah, and a penalty goes against Taylor. He was the marker, but the referee ruled that he didn't face up until the ball had left the ruck in county. I don't know whether my eyes are playing tricks, Graham. Has that wind done a dipsy doodle?
Well, it has. It was only coming up in gusts before, behind Canterbury, and it was quite strong when it did so. It's now turned around, and the flags on the scoreboard are suggesting very strongly that it's now behind the Eels.
Here's Gillespie. Lamb. Hagan. Now it's done. Hagan backed him up nicely. He threw a pass that he probably would have been better off not passing. In fact, obviously it wouldn't, but he just sort of was under too much pressure to pass it at that time. Immense push there from Canterbury as Parramatta win the scrum. Kenny being well and truly marked. They're not giving him very much room to work in at all. Here's Price, like a good back rower out of the scrum to take one of the early plays. This is Peter Wynn. That's very much out of the manual, what you've just seen, the lock, and then a second rower taking a couple of plays as they get their backs out the other side. Kenny, oh, he heard the familiar sound of Ella's voice. A split second too late.
That was a good tackle by Paul Langmack on Kenny, and it needed to be. Parramatta had the numbers. Kenny looked for the little split. He thought he was through. Langmack had let him get past him, but then brought him down with a copybook tackle from behind.
Sterling puts the torpedo punt in. It'll probably stop before the dead ball line. Sterling, he knows nearly every blade of grass at the stadium. I'll tell you what, he knows the grass inside the in goal. There's plenty of it.
Mick Potter's going to earn his money here today because the in-goal areas here are particularly big. But not only that, the grass is so long that the ball just seems to pull up.
And there's no question in my mind that Sterling is aware of that, and he's using every available inch of ground. Now it's out to Hagan wide, and now it's Farah put to the ground by Jeff Bugden and Mark Lowry. Steve Folkes. In 1980 it was the Bulldogs. 81, 82, 83 it was Parramatta. 84, 85 Canterbury. So since the turn of the decade, these two sides have shared the Winfield Cup and J.J. Gilton and Shield. Played by Taylor. Growth goes for a gallop. He's lost the ball. It's between his legs. He looks like he's hatching it. You might recall Glover took the ball across and scored a memorable try at Penrith one day in similar fashion. Here's Ella. Just a few metres into Canterbury's area. A match that is being played under great tension. And you can feel both crowds, the Canterbury and Parramatta crowds, just aching at the back teeth for the crack to come their way. Played by Price on 5. Sterling decides to push the ball, and Growth's away from one. He got the pass inside for Kenny. Kenny inside for Taylor. Taylor inside for Sterling, and Sterling picks up the first try of this big clash between the Eels and the Bulldogs. I must say to you, I
thought maybe, just maybe, the pass from Growth to Kenny was a shade forward. Allowing the fact that it wasn't forward, it's been a beautiful pass by Sterling to Growth. Growth got out of one. Langmack had him in the second. That was the ball I'm talking about. But Kenny to Taylor to Sterling. And let's look on the positive side. That was a magnificent pass from Peter Sterling to set it up and then score the try.
Once again, the Bulldogs' defence was breached by a long pass. Here is the one from Sterling to Growth, but Growth still had plenty to do. He needed to beat a tackle, as did Brett Kenny. Back onto Taylor. I thought Taylor might have got there on his own, but he unselfishly gave the ball to Sterling, who did the rest.
So the blue and gold army has been on their feet as we watch it again on the NEC replay from the cameras at grass level almost. And here's the dive for the try from Peter Sterling. Graham Atkins from right in front to attempt conversion. Straight on line for Atkins. And Parramatta lead by 8 points to 2 in the NEC big game from the stadium.
I don't mind telling you that the Minister for Sport, Federal Minister John Brown, I think he led the cheering, he led the barrackers when Sterling went in for that try a short time back. In fact, there he is sitting up there next to the Chief of his Sports Commission, Ted Harris, but Canterbury come up with the ball.
John Mooney wouldn't have liked that at all. Taylor was under no pressure. He ran the ball out, but instead of sitting down in the tackle and giving his Parramatta players time to come back, he fought in the tackle and he conceded possession.
That's against Parramatta for stealing in the tackle. And this is an easy one for Terry Lamb. Stan Jerd sharing a seat in the crowd with Paul Mayers. I guess he's around there somewhere. Been generally put forward that Canterbury are very weakened today without Kelly and Mortimer. Of course, you think about it, Jerd, Mayers and Cronin, they can play a bit themselves. Lamb now. He should get this one. Just off centre, 15 out. He's got it. 8 points to 4, the new scoreline. Parramatta leading Canterbury in the NEC big game. First round in Canada. This is Farah. Oh, that's bad defence by Parramatta. Terrible defence by Parramatta. Michael Potter, less one shoe. Kenny comes up with the intercept, and I'll tell you what, he almost had to come up with it. Sterling. Parramatta not getting themselves set quickly. Something they used to do very well from broken play was get themselves set quickly. Bugden, Jeff Bugden is sucking the oxygen in. He's finding the going tough at this stage. Here he comes again. They're 32 metres out and 5 tackles are gone. The booing is for one of the trainers on the field. And this is going to go over the dead ball line. So again, it's a 22 place kick to restart. In fact, what inspired the attention of the crowd to the trainers going onto the ground was referee John Gosher in reserve grade. He chatted a Canterbury trainer, and the crowd loved every moment of it. And all that trainer did, in fact, was go out there to pick up the shoe of Michael Potter and take it back to the fullback. This is Tunks. And a bit of a skirmish breaks out amongst the crowd as Farah puts in the big kick, and it's going to find the line deep inside Parramatta territory. We've better things to do with our time than take pictures of people brawling on sporting arena hills. My two H's, that and streakers. Spotlight hunters, that's what I call them. Spotlight bandits. Penalty to Parramatta. How are you seeing it, Graham?
Well, Parramatta have certainly dominated the game territorially. I think the crunch is going to come for them maybe in the second half if Canterbury get a greater possession of ball. They've certainly, as I said, had the better of the first half, but they haven't really been put under pressure. Canterbury making a lot of mistakes and giving away far too many penalties.
Sterling finds a hole. He goes 10 metres, but then he was on the end of a beautiful tackle from one of the game's best, Langmack. Here's Wynn. Talking of state sides, city sides, why they seem to discount lock forwards as second rowers has got me a little bit baffled. He'd be one of the first players I'd have in my team, Langmack, even if he was playing second row. Play down on the Canterbury 22. Sandy Campbell.
It's been a very interesting game to this stage. Both sides particularly strong in defence, and Canterbury making their share of errors and giving away penalties. But it's a game that hasn't opened up at all. Neither side really has showed an advantage in attack, and I'm just waiting for a crack to appear and one of these sides to make a split that'll lead to a try.
Here's Gillespie. Brett Kenny has injured an ankle. The kick now for Potter. And Growth's going over, so we're going to see the big bloke bring it back. Here he comes. Part-time singer. Professional rugby league winger. Oh, that was a silly thing to do, Gross.
Could have very easily been penalised
for not facing goal. You're quite right, Bill. That's what I was talking about. Apart from the fact he didn't look around to see if he had a dummy half. This is Sharp. They're on the 22. Kenny still limping. Lee Beater. He's trying to get some feeling back in that ankle. This is Carr. He received some attention himself a few minutes back, or not even that. Here's Ella, who's dropped into Kenny's position to put in the kick, and Potter has got plenty of room to move in now. Around Ray Price, picked up by Ella. Ella will give a penalty if he doesn't let go. Now it's Farah. Canterbury just starting to find some holes in the Parramatta defence. Significantly, we're getting close to half-time, and a couple of Parramatta players, a couple of their bigger men, are dropping off in defence, dropping off rapidly. And Canterbury are starting to find those holes. They're running plays at them. Now it's Lamb. This is Hagan. Holds back the ball, tries to make the split himself. Play 30 metres from the Parramatta line. Here goes Folkes to the 22 line. 5 gone. Langmack, Bugden, Lamb gets the kick in. Now he was the second player off the ruck. There's Sterling showing you the new rule. But to think on the last tackle of 6 that the ball could go through 3 sets of hands only indicates to me one thing. That what I was saying about Parramatta's urgency in defence and in charge down has dropped right off. They still lead, though, by 8 points to 4. Price outside the 32. Sterling around the back for Wynn, but well read, Michael Hagan. Taylor. Sterling. In the last minute of play in the first half, Potter goes back with Peter Mortimer. Away from Taylor, but not from Sterling. Farah. couple of the bigger Canterbury players are just getting back on side now. So what I said about Parramatta's big men may well apply to a couple of Canterbury's as well. This is Tunks. And there's the siren. The end of the first half is coming right now. And so at half-time, it's Parramatta 8, Canterbury 4. A sideline comment from former Bulldog Graham Hughes.
Well, as I already mentioned, Parramatta territorially came up with trumps in that first half, but Canterbury certainly did start to finish stronger in the first spell of 40 minutes here as they received a fairer share, a more equal share of possession. In the second half, as far as Canterbury is concerned, I'll be looking for a bigger running game from both Terry Lamb and also Andrew Farrar.
Restart from Graham Atkins. So as Paul Langmack come back to the 22. Mark Bugden. 126 tackles required of Canterbury in the first half, 92 Parramatta. Dunn with 19 led the Canterbury count, 13 Lee Beater led the Parramatta count. This is Farrar now. Lamb. Breeze most definitely behind Canterbury now that it's swung around. There's Atkins. And with Parramatta with the ball inside their own 22, let's go to Graham Hughes. He's been able to manage an interview with Stan Jurd.
Stan, how'd you see that first half?
It's pretty even at the moment. We have had a lot of possession, but, you know, well, that's the name of the game. If you've got the ball, they can't score.
Well, it's always been touted as the game between arguably the competition's best attackers and the best defenders.
Well, that's right. At the moment, we're on the board. We've got more points than them, so if we can hold on to the ball the second half, I think we're going to go pretty good.
Also a problem for Parramatta in that breeze has turned around behind the ball.
It's not that much of a breeze, but yeah, it's a big game. It shouldn't worry us that much.
How long are you out for, sir?
This week only.
Okay, good luck.
So the ball knocked on by Ray Price. In fact, Price doesn't, well, he didn't know it, obviously didn't. He hasn't got eyes in the back of his head. Had he have let that pass from Sterling go, it was on line to land right in the hands of Eric Groth, and he was unmarked. Canterbury winning this one. Hagan beating Kenny, who went up very fast. Hagan, a good run.
Parramatta would be somewhat disappointed that with all the possession they had in the first half, they haven't registered more points. And if Canterbury can come up with an even share of possession in this second stanza, they're going to be dangerous.
Tunks felled by a low tackle from Carr. Now it's Lamb, Hagan, and Kenny again went up fast. He made his tackle that time. Now it's Langmack. Back for Bugden, back for Dunn, Dunn up. Back for Folks now to the 10-metre line. 5 tackles gone for the Bulldogs. Lamb gets the up and under in. And down it comes, and safely in the hands of Parramatta's Mark Laurie. This is the NEC replay of the up and under from Lamb. Beautifully positioned too it was, out in the field of play just fractionally. Played by Atkins. Now it's Sterling. Here's Bugden. He's put it on the ground, so it's pressure now for Parramatta. This is Potter, tackled by Taylor. Back to Campbell. He's tackled 20 metres out, right in front of the uprights. Now it's Langmack holding it back. Out it goes to Potter. This man is Farrar. They've got the numbers. Farrar gets a pass away, and Peter Mortimer strolls over for a try. 8 points all in the NEC big game. Canterbury throwing it around, players wrapping around, creating extras, and Peter Mortimer eventually was left unmarked as Eric Groth had gone in to take, I believe it was Paul Langmack.
The Parramatta defence has started this second half as it finished the first half. They're allowing Canterbury to stand in tackles, and here they paid the price, with Farah standing up, slipping the ball back onto Peter Mortimer, who went round to improve his position.
Try scorer Peter Mortimer. And 8 points all. Lamb's kick, he likes it, but it's just gone away at the last moment. 8 points all, the NEC big game of the year, locked. Parramatta and Canterbury. Static sideline comment from Graham Hughes.
Well, the mail coming from the Canterbury dressing room at the half-time break was that they were a very confident outfit. Apparently all the forwards had come up trumps. Parramatta, of course, as Billy Anderson said, enjoying the lion's share of possession in that first half. Stan Jurd just offered some advice to us that he wasn't all that concerned about the fact that they only come up with the one try, but that was the signal for Canterbury to display that confidence. They felt that they had Parramatta simply because, given that even share of possession in the second half, that they can finish much the stronger.
Tunks. They're finding plenty of metres. Steve Mortimer running the bottle on occasions. Now it's Lamb who gets the kick in straight to Sterling. They seem to have plenty of time then. Lamb too. It wasn't one of Terry's best kicks. Peter Wynn. Mark Laurie. The moment you take Sterling out of the Parramatta attack, Carr, good run by the replacement hooker. The moment Sterling gets out of that playmaker position, they just don't look like they know where they're going, some of them. Now he's back into the position, the number 7, Kenny. Kenny goes back into the middle. 5 tackles gone for Parramatta. They're down just outside the Canterbury 22. Now it's with Sterling. He goes for a drop goal. It won't find it. And it's Michael Potter who brings it out. Taylor and Sterling make the tackle on the Canterbury fullback. Plenty of enthusiasm there from the little fellows. Hagan down but not held. Now he is. Dunn, allowed to stand, nobody cleaning up over the top. Gillespie.
That's been the pattern of all of this second half.
Lamb was thinking about the kick. He's been able to get it away to Hagan. Now it's Potter. 5 gone. Langmack. And that went out on the full, so it's coming back now for the scrum and the Parramatta feed. Scrum win to Parramatta. This is Kenny. There's Laurie. Win. The ground practically shadowed now with 25 minutes of the game to go. Bugden.
That was a good run by Bugden. He had plenty of defence opposite him, but they couldn't put him down. He carried them forward 10 to 15 metres.
Kenny making the error. Tunks with the ball. Try scorer. I'm not sure. I think it was Michael Potter. Let's have a look at the replay. There's no question that it's a try. Beautifully picked up by Terry Lamb on the half volley. Peter Mortimer went one way, then the other. Michael Potter it was who got the ball over. It's Peter Mortimer who scores the try. And there it is.
But he was too late.
Andrew Farah capitalised on the work of Peter Tunks prior to him handling the ball.
Let's wait and see this ball as it is touched in flight. I think it was Steve Eller, actually. And Peter Mortimer picks up what could well be the match-winning try. 2 tries to Peter Mortimer. Terry Lamb with a fairly simple kick. Only a slight angle. And he's got it. So Canterbury Bankstown now leads by the converted try margin, 14-8.
Eller's drop kick is only ordinary, although on the bounce it's gone down to Potter on the halfway.
I don't think Canterbury have got any decision to make here. They should just take it up for 2 or 3, get that extra 1-point cushion by kicking a field goal.
Hagan. It's Chris Mortimer. Tunks.
1 more and that'll just about see it out.
Folks.
Now's the time.
I think Lamb wants it right now. Hagan's got it.
Langmack. Lamb. He got the kick in. That's the shot. 15 points to 8 in favour of the Bulldogs. Drop goal by Terry Lamb. 18 minutes of time remaining, 15-8, Canterbury leading.
Lee beater. 7-6 the penalties to Canterbury, 4-2 the scrums to Parramatta. There's one fellow out there in the Parramatta team that needn't worry about a thing, is young Vince Carr, the Michael Mosley replacement. He's done a fine job. Sterling's kick to Potter.
Potter, like the Michael Potter of old. In fact, this is the best play I've seen from Potter this year anyway, and certainly for a major part of last year as well. Peter Mortimer.
Potter has saved his best for this big occasion, but some of the Parramatta defence hasn't. It'll be a constant worry now for John Maney because players are just not making tackles. Look, they're falling off time and time again.
Ball spread right across to Andrew Farrer. Lamb. Taylor's got a problem with an arm. He's clutching at his right wrist. Penalty to Canterbury right in front of the uprights. So Lamb from right in front picks up another 2-pointer for Canterbury. 17-8 in favour of the Premiers.
Played by Langmack on his own 22. And Parramatta now most definitely looking down the barrel of their first defeat at their new home ground. Oh, that was a high tackle on Gillespie, and he has sent him off. It is Terry Leabeater. Price not impressed with the decision of the referee, and the referee had no hesitation in sending Terry Leabeater off. Changes, Graham Hughes.
Well, Graham Setri has gone out there for Parramatta in 23, replacing Jeff Bugden. Peter Ford, who was going to take the field in 21, was also going out as a replacement for Terry Leavetter, obviously brought back from the sideline. John Elias warming up for Canterbury Bankstown in 22, and he'll take the place of Peter Tunks.
Tackle of Leavetter's, to me, appeared it caught him with the hand. It was high, it was swinging, but I don't think you'll find that it was actually the forearm that made contact with David Gillespie. Turned inside nicely by Dunn, and outside it comes now. Chris Mortimer inside for Terry Lamb, over the top, touched by Parramatta. Hagan gets the ball away to Dunn. The referee didn't start the tackle count again.
This is looking ominous for Parramatta. Canterbury at the moment just too big and too strong.
Tunks 3 metres out from the Parramatta line. Bugden looking for a try that he's almost come to believe is his entitlement against Parramatta.
Peter Tunks from dummy half has scored Canterbury's 3rd try. Canterbury making that try anyway look all too easy. From dummy half, Tunks takes it across. In fact, I think he scored a try in the grand final, and a lot of people thought he used Steve Mortimer as a shepherd, but there was no hint of it on that particular occasion.
Well, you could blame the number 9 for Parramatta, Steve Sharp. He was standing almost totally upright. Tunks, who's a specialist from dummy half, had no problems going underneath him.
Canterbury bolting away with it now. 21-8. Peter Ford on in 21. Steve Sharp comes off. Lamb's kick hits the upright. No goal. 21-8. 9 minutes to go. The NEC big game. Win to play it. Setri. I wonder what thoughts are flooding through the mind of John Mooney. Ray Price. Double movement. It'll be a penalty to Canterbury. It is. See it again. There's no question that it's a double movement.
Price. What a great warrior he's been. He tackled everything in the first half that moved or looked like moving. Here he is, still working away, pumping away, trying to put some respectability back into the scoreline. Sterling, Kenny, long ball out to Taylor. But this Canterbury defence is hitting just as hard now as it was when this match opened. And now he's given a penalty to Parramatta. Taylor not very impressed with the treatment dealt out to him. Price is still trying to settle him.
Thing that's keeping a bit of sanity in it is that leather ball. If there wasn't a ball there for them to concentrate on, they'd be at one another's throats.
By the same token, I repeat something I said earlier. I don't think there was any need for other than the on-field combatants to get involved in it. It seemed to be a war of officialdom leading up to what was going to be a packed house anyway. Graham Hughes, I'll come to you in a moment, with Steve Mortimer as Ray Price bullocks for the line. Now Sterling and Gillespie are trading punches.
And Gillespie is really working overtime on Sterling. Well, Gillespie walked past Taylor and had some more to say. Atkins. Inside the last 5. Ella. Taylor. Kenny. Away from one. Back to Setri. Taylor, Kenny, long ball to Sterling, they've got to score. Atkins gets the try that Parramatta's been working for the last 5 to 10 minutes. 21-12 the score. Graham Atkins the try scorer. And maybe, I'm not suggesting for a moment that Parramatta has been unlucky here today, far from it. But there is an example of something Graham Hughes was suggesting to them a long, long time ago. You won't beat them up the middle. You've got to reach the extremities.
Parramatta always had the numbers here. It was just a case of shifting the ball out wide, a long pass over the top. Then Sterling finally drew and gave onto Atkins, and he did the rest and scored in the corner.
Graham Atkins to take the kick. A kick of little consequence, really. Let's go to the sidelines. Graham Hughes with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Steve Mortimer.
Steve, it's been a big performance in the second half, but I thought they won it in the first with their defence.
They certainly did, mate. They hung in there for the first half, and I knew we would come a lot stronger than Parramatta in the second half. And there's not an ounce of champion these blokes. I think it's a strong kilo in each one of these blokes out there today.
Who do you think was outstanding for Canterbury?
Can't pick them out, mate. I think our forwards definitely show we are the best in the comp, and probably like to thank Pricey for his extra motivation when he wrote in one of his comments about the players, and boys have really answered it on the football field, and that's the only way to do it.
Was the feeling that strong about that column of Ray Price?
Well, it's very strong. There is a players' code, and we all respect that, and I think the players sat out here today. The only place to do it is on the ground. But congratulations to Canterbury, and I think the referee's been a very, very fair man today.
Thanks, Steve.
There's the siren in the background, bringing down the curtain on this Parramatta-Canterbury clash. And after all the fire and the brimstone, now they meet and shake hands. It's a crazy world we live in. Canterbury 21, Parramatta 12, the battle of the stadium. Mortimer, Peter 2, Tunks 1, Lamb 4 goals in the drop goal. Parramatta, Sterling and Atkins tries, and Atkins kicked 2 goals. Let's have a look at the results now of the complete round of Winfield Cup football. Eastern Suburbs 10, St George 5 yesterday. Illawarra 34, the Magpies 8. Manly 28 in a high-scoring game, defeating North 24. Souths 10, Canberra 8. Canterbury 21, Parramatta 12. And Balmain 17, Penrith 14.
There was plenty of tension in the air at Leichhardt Oval before exploding when Paul Sirenen and Daryl Broman had a disagreement during the play the ball. A penalty tap resulted in the Tigers' first try right on half-time, and it was Wayne Pearce hitting the Panthers' defensive line that created the opportunity before turning it inside for Gary Jack. In the second half, the Panthers hit back when Greg Clements goes through a gap before finding Izzard, who throws a great pass for Rob Robards to eventually score. 5 minutes later, Gary Jack initiates a raid that culminates in Russell Gartner crossing for Balmain to lead 14-6. To their credit, Penrith kept coming back, this time with a try to David Lydiard. Penrith came within 1 point of Balmain before Ross Conlon kicked this penalty goal in the dying stages, giving the Tigers a hard-fought 17-14 victory.
The local Northside derby was a try-scoring feast with 9 in all. North led off after 8 minutes when Mark Graham combined with winger Les Kiss to send Mark Cannon in to score. Manly's Cliff Lyons was looking for a big game against his former club, And when he took off from dummy half after 12 minutes, nothing was going to stop him scoring a great solo try. And wasn't he pleased about it? 21 minutes into the match and the tries kept coming. Mark Graham, who was proving unstoppable, sent a clever pass around the corner for young colt Greg Florimo to steam across. With both sides tackles shy, it was non-stop attack as Cliff Lyons and Des Hassler combined for Chris Close to score. Manly now ahead 12 points to 8. But Mark Graham was really having a huge game. From a standing start, he went through a Manly pack who until today had been dominant in the premiership. When play resumed, Mark Graham picked up from where he left off. He scooped up a loose pass from Cliff Lyons and headed for the line. Then again, as was the pattern, Manly bounced back. Ron Gibbs sent Mitchell Cox into the clear and the former Bear lined up Chris Close for his second try. Manly now ahead 20 to 18. Mark Cannon put North back in front with his second try before Cliff Lyons lofted a pass inside his own half to Dale Shearer, whose pace and swerve sealed the seesawing match for Manly, in which the lead changed 6 times before the Sea Eagles got home 28 to 24 in a very entertaining match.
At Seaford Oval, the Rabbitohs pack, refreshed from the week's break last weekend, took control in the early minutes in their clash with the Canberra Raiders. After Meninga had given Canberra a 2-point lead, a try in the 17th minute by South's Michael Povchi saw the Rabbitohs in front. That lead was increased with the Neil Baker field goal, and just 7 minutes later, Craig Coleman repeated the medicine as the Rabbitohs led by 6-2. That sparked a Canberra revival, with Chris O'Sullivan racing 60 metres before the South cover defence cut short a promising move, but the Raiders were back in the game. 2 further penalties by Meninga saw the teams go to the break locked at 6-all. But the trusty right boot of Neil Baker, with 2 further field goals and a penalty in the second half, helped the Rabbitohs to another vital 2 premiership points in a 10-8 win.
Illawarra wasted no time posting their first try. It came within a couple of minutes of the kick-off when Hetherington pressed his representative claims with a strong run. The reliable Alan McIndoe draws the fullback with Trevor Kissel backing up for the 4-pointer. 7 minutes later, West hit back when the elusive and hard-running Wilfred Williams puts his centre partner Greg Duval over in the corner. But 2 soft tries by prop Steve Worthington pushed the Steelers further ahead. After taking a 20 points to 8 lead into the break, Illawarra picked up another 14 points for a 34 to 8 victory. Alan Martin, Eyewitness News.
Parramatta Manly Souths all leading the competition, 1 point in front of Canterbury, then Balmain, Penrith North's 10 with St George, Illawarra East, Cronulla 8, West 7, Canberra 4. Next Saturday it's City versus Country, so all Winfield Cup matches will be played on the Sunday with South Parramatta, Canterbury Manly, North St George, East Balmain, Penrith Illawarra, West Cronulla and Canberra having the bye. And it looks now, of course, that Canterbury and Manly will be the match of the round. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week of Rugby League, proudly brought to you by Winfield.